What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to Brewers franchise. Welcome back. We are about to start our second off season. Last year we went 88-74, which was a 9-win improvement over year one, but we still failed to make the playoffs. So entering the last year of our contract, we have low job security. I don't want to get fired after this year. I want to keep playing with the Brewers. So this is a big offseason. We need to set ourselves up for success. Obviously, something we're doing is working. We've got we improved by 9 wins year over year. But maybe there are some small changes that we can make to improve things here. So let's hop into it. We are coming off of a Chicago Cubs World Series win over the Twins. So the winners of the NL Central, our division, win the World Series. So that puts even more pressure on us. We're going to take a look at retired players here. Donovan Solano was just kind of sitting in our minor league system in case we got hit hard by injuries. So he's going to retire. James Paxton is a big name. Justin Verlander retiring. Finishes his career with 269 wins and 3,469 strikeouts. Steven Strasburg retires. Finishes his career with 118 wins and 1,857 strikeouts. Eduardo Escobar retiring. Yasmani Grandal, Yu Darvish, 116 wins for him in America and 2,033 strikeouts. So, Jackie Bradley Jr., Matt Carpenter, Carlos Carrasco, some decent names here. I think, probably Verlander makes the Hall of Fame, probably nobody else. Oh, okay, so Max Scherzer retires. He must have been sitting way down there in free agency. And Justin Verlander doesn't make the Hall of Fame. Interesting. So here are our exclusive free agents, and honestly, I don't think we're going to re-sign any of them. We won't extend the qualifying offer to Gio Urshela or Hobie Milner. We might sign Hobie Milner again if nobody else does, and we need the depth. Well, I don't know. Let's see. Hold on. I could definitely sign him to a 1-year deal, and even if he does end up going down to AAA. So we'll offer him. Everybody else, we're going to let test free agency. We may end up going back after Gio Urshela or Ahmed Rosario, depending on what the rest of the free agent crop looks like. And Raisel Iglesias, although he had a good year, 2.28 ERA, had 1.27 WHIP and 36 saves across 2 teams, he is regressing super hard at 36 years old. So we're going to let him go. Wow, before we even get to free agency, a big trade has gone down. The Pirates, I guess, are trying to go into contender mode. This is not good for us. They just traded 3 prospects. Well, I say 3 prospects. Billy Quintana is a 19-year-old relief pitcher. Cannon Smith-Njigba is 26 years old. He's been in minors for a while. Not really a whole lot of potential. Jake Mangum is 30. But they're going to trade for Edwin Diaz. It's a big contract that the Mets are getting rid of, so maybe they're looking to make a splash in free agency. All right, we've gone through an offered salary arbitration to those that are eligible. So those hearings will be later in the offseason. We have tendered contracts to all of our players we want to tender contracts to. Brock Wilken is the only person that I need to add to my 40-man roster to prevent from him being taken in the Rule 5 draft. I want him to go ahead. Honestly, I'm not sure. I know once you add him to the 40-man roster that you have to start paying him like a major league salary at $780K instead of like $80K a year. So I want him to agree to this offer first, and then we'll add him to the 40-man if possible. That being said, until then, it's time to hop into free agency and see what our options are. All right, here we are in free agency, and there are some big names out here. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. obviously headlining them all. Already has a 7-year, $128 million offer from the Blue Jays. Not terribly interested in that. Kyle Tucker already has an extension offer from the Astros. Kyle Tucker up to a 94, batted .309, slugged .539 last year. 33 home runs, a career high for him. Wow. Wow. 29 years old. Vlad only 27 though. Past that, you got Zach Gallen, who honestly probably fit in really well at the top of our rotation. Take some pressure off of Freddie Peralta, maybe. Been an all-star 3 straight years now. He had a 3.16 ERA, a 1.07 WHIP last year, a 4.6 WAR. There's also Bo Bichette. Obviously, the Joey Ortiz experiment hasn't gone terribly well. But looking at Bo Bichette, I mean, he only hit 262 and slugged 475 last year. I mean, an 800 OPS is good. Don't get me wrong. And it's much better than Joey Ortiz is doing. I don't know if it's somebody that we want to super commit to long term. I don't know, man. Look at that mane of hair. Blake Snell also out here, a little old for the kind of contract he might be looking for. Although, only a 3-year deal right there for the Giants offered right there. And then Dylan Cease is interesting to me. No offers so far. Obviously, the Padres made the qualifying offer, so we'll lose a draft pick if we sign him. But 30 years old and no offers to him yet. Could slot in at the top of our rotation along with Freddie Peralta. He had a 3.26 ERA, 1.29 WHIP last year, 4.1 WAR after a down year in his first year in San Diego. So interesting there. All right, let's go position by position here. So besides those top 3, we got Chris Paddock, Michael King, Nasty Nestor Cortez, Robert Valdez, Nathan Eovaldi, Ranger Suarez, Brandon Woodruff, who we traded to the Braves, has an extension offer from them. So some interesting options here for high level and, you know, mid-level starters. As far as relief pitchers go, we will probably throw at least one offer out here. Matt Strom, I really, really like. One of the better lefty relievers in the league, and he's got a 5-pitch repertoire. And then Jorge Lopez, Austin Adams, Hunter Harvey I really like. Ryan Presley is pretty good. I like Carl Edwards Jr. So Dylan Tate. Really interesting options out there. Sir Anthony Dominguez, Tim Meza. So some interesting options to add to the bullpen. We will not be going after a closer because we have Abner Uribe. Devin Williams is here. He does have an extension offer from the Braves. We miss him, but, you know, it was prudent to move on from him. All right, let's look at the position players. Obviously, we're not going to sign a catcher. Will Smith, JT Realmuto. I mean, we've got William Contreras and Francisco Mejia. And then we've got Jefferson Caro waiting in the wings. So we're good there. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., though, is very interesting, as is Josh Naylor, honestly. So, you know, what we could do is Alex Bregman, you know, we could move him back to third base, and we could move Sal Frelick back to the outfield. We could move Alex Bregman over to second base and DH Luis Arias. We have options, honestly. It's just, it really kind of depends on what we do in free agency here. I'm intrigued. Even Dominic Smith right here. I just really like his swing, honestly. But, yeah, some good first baseman there. Second base, I like Willie Castro. Obviously, we had Ahmed Rosario. Willie Castro would be a pretty good switch hitting kind of utility guy for us to come off the bench. That's interesting. Same with like Jorge Mateo. He's not a switch hitter though. Third base, like I said, we do have the option to move Sal Frelick back to the outfield if necessary. We did let Gio Urshela go, and Sal Frelick is still not very good hitting against lefty. 47 contact versus lefties. So if we don't re-sign, like if we don't go after Gio Urshela again, we're going to want to sign somebody who can hit lefties and play in that left-handed hitting lineup. Past that, shortstop Bo Bichette, and then a huge fall off in the outfield. I mean, we could get Kyle Schwarber as a DH for sure. That would definitely be interesting. We could definitely go after him. I like Cedric Mullins. You can't escape him. Shout out to Little Man. Tommy Edman is a nice switch hitting utility guy. He can play everywhere. There's a lot of directions that we could potentially go here. Let's kind of, Lane Thomas, 30 years old. He's a little bit older than I was anticipating. Interesting though. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued for sure. All right, the offers are in, and you know what? We talked about it earlier. I've got 1 year left on my contract to make something happen. We haven't even made the playoffs yet, so we got to go for it. Joey Ortiz, I love him. Traded Willy Adames in year 1, let Joey Ortiz try to fly. It hasn't really worked out for him. And the chance to get a premier shortstop is so rare, especially if we can sign Bo Bichette to this contract, $96.7 mil. That's like, 19 mil a year, something like that. That's pretty good. For 5 years, we'll get him through his age 33 year, right before he starts his decline. And then Dylan Cease has no offers. If we can get him to sign this contract, which is about, 24 million a year? Yeah, 3 years, 24 million a year, also through his age 33 year. And we will have a new ace on our team. Of course, Hobie Milner, we offered a contract just to re-sign. We've got the qualifying, or not the qualifying offer, just a regular 1 year offer out for him. And then Bo Petter, this happened to me last year. He's somebody that I drafted and signed, but he ended up in free agency. I don't know why. Anyway, so we've got these offers out. We're going big this offseason. However, if you look in the bottom right here, we've got 64.5 mil in available budget and 67.5 mil in pending offers. So we are looking at going over budget right now, but don't you worry, I've got a plan. And it might be controversial, but this is my franchise. All right, it is trade time, and the name you can't see under my bar there is Alex Bregman. We signed Alex Bregman to a 5-year deal last year, and he did pretty well for us this year, a little bit below expectations. Got him through 2030. He batted .288, which is really actually pretty good. Hit 28 home runs. I mean, honestly, a pretty good year. 869 OPS. He's playing first base for us, but we are going to trade him and his $16 million contract to the Dodgers. But we're also trading Carlton Parker, who is a guy we drafted. He probably could contribute in the major leagues, but he's got pretty low potential, and he's about as good as he's ever going to get right now. He might improve a little bit, but we're going to sell him at his high stock right now. We've got tons of lefty outfielders, so we're going to sell that depth. And then Avisel Garcia, this is big for us. We took on his contract when we traded for Edward Cabrera and Luis Arias last year from the Marlins, and he's got 1 year left on that contract, but it's $13.2 million, and we're dumping that salary onto the Dodgers. And in return, we're going to get Andy Pages. I've been saying his name wrong. I've been saying Pages. What a gringo thing to do. A 25-year-old right fielder who, by the way, is great at this game, is developing into a pretty good all-around hitter and has the benefit of being able to sit behind Nelson Velasquez to start the year. Might even start in AAA just for a little bit to let him develop even more and maybe even get up to like over 70 power against righties. That'd be really nice. So a really nice right-handed outfielding piece for us. And we're also going to get Miguel Vargas, who is a 75 overall with A potential at second base. He's 26 years old. He hasn't quite come around as a hitter fully. He struggled when playing in the pros, batting 170, 195, and 141. 183 in his career, over 367 at-bats. But he's got the potential there. He's got the pinch hitting quirk, so he can come off the bench and pinch hit for us some while he's developing. But the Dodgers picked up Matt McClain in a trade last year, and they really have no reason to have Miguel Vargas there as well. So these are pieces that we're getting back to help free up some space so that we can hopefully sign Bo Bichette and Dylan Cease. But bear with me if you think this might be like giving up too much or whatever. We got plans. We're freeing up about $30 million in budget. Well, not quite that much. We're going to have to re-sign Vargas and Pages, but we'll probably re-sign them at like $800K a piece. So that's pretty much $30 million in budget. So we're going to go ahead and get this done. It's a really big deal. and I feel good about it, honestly. The first big free agent free agent signing of the offseason is in, and it's a huge one. Dylan Cease, 3 years, $24 million a year, coming to Milwaukee for the Brewers. It's great. We get to stack him with Freddie Peralta, who is entering the last year of his contract. So in case we can't re-sign Freddie Peralta, we've got Dylan Cease for a couple of years. We're going for it this year. All right, no more huge free agent signings yet, but a big trade here. The Giants have traded for Nolan Gorman from the Cardinals, which is kind of strange, honestly, because the Cardinals traded for Luis Robert last year, and you would think they'd be in win now mode, but they're going to get Thairo Estrada back, who's a good player, and they get Kyle Harrison to boost their rotation. So interesting. I don't know, maybe they're just going into win now and they needed the extra pitching help. I mean, Kyle Harrison is a good prospect, don't get me wrong, but Nolan Gorman is the man. You know, 26 home runs last year, only 25 years old at 86 overall. Whew. On the Brewers side of things, we did go ahead and sign Hobie Miltner. We also signed TJ Antone to shore up our bullpen, and then we also signed Yohan Moncada, the former short-time Red Sox, long-time White Sox. His contract finally expired, and he's going to be a decent platoon / bench player for us. So, still waiting to see on Bo Bichette, but fingers crossed. All right, we've got our next big signing. It is Ryan Helsley headed to Arizona to become the new closer for the Diamondbacks. 5-year, $6 million per year deal. Ooh, there's another big one. Mike Trout finally getting some help in the outfield. Kyle Tucker headed to Los Angeles on a 9-year deal, $22 million a year. What a signing for the Angels. All right, we got more action on the hot stove. Will Smith headed to the Cardinals. They've already got Wilson Contreras, so I wonder what the plan is there. He might have regressed so much that they can't start him anymore. I don't know. It's a 5-year deal for Will Smith, who's already 31, but we're going to have to face him a lot from now on. All right, it is time for the draft lottery. We finished with the 18th pick. We've got a 0.2% chance at getting that number 1 pick, but more to pay attention to since we're likely not going to move at all. The A's, White Sox, and Nationals have equal chance at getting the top pick. Let's see what happens. All right, so barely any movement in this lottery. The Rockies are going to go up from 4 to 3. The Nationals go down from 3 to 4, and everything else was scratch. So we are going to have the number 18 pick in the draft next year. Another big signing here, JT Realmuto at 35 years old is going to sign a 1-year deal with the Royals. They do still have Salvador Perez. They don't have MJ Melendez anymore. Big news for us. They didn't offer salary arbitration to MJ Melendez, so he became a free agent. And we signed him to a 3-year deal, $7 million, so about $2.3 million a year. He's going to provide depth for us. I don't know exactly where, but I like MJ Melendez as a player. And when you have a guy that can play catcher and outfield, that's great to have. Anyways, JT Realmuto to the Royals. All right, so it's time for the Rule 5 draft, and luckily it is time because I realized that I have 40 players on my 40-man roster. So even if Bo Bichette wanted to sign with me, I wouldn't have been able to sign him. So I went ahead and cleared up 2 spots on my 40-man roster just by making 2 quick trades. Jansen Junk we sent to the Rangers for a pitching prospect, and Jose Corniel. And then we sent Alexander Canario, who was, he's 25, 68 overall with B potential. So pretty good prospect. We sent him over to Arizona, and we got just 3 mid-level prospects in return to kind of fill out our lower minor league ranks. Salvatore Pena, Tristan English, and Brian McLeod. I think they all have C potential. They're all like 18 to 20 years old, around 50 to 60 overall. All right, Rule 5 draft time. I think I've protected all the players that I needed to, so we shouldn't lose anybody here. And honestly, I think our roster is in a good spot where we probably won't draft anybody. We took Eric Lauer last year, and that was really awesome because he ended up being a pretty decent long reliever for us. but I don't know that we'll end up taking anybody. We're going to go ahead and start it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people get taken. None of these are anybody that I would have been interested in, I don't think. Because remember, when you take somebody in the Rule 5 draft, you have to keep them on your roster the rest of the year. If you try to send them down to the minors, they just go back to their previous organization, I believe. Yu Chang, Red Sox legend. I'm a Dynasty legend last year, honestly. Dari Lorenzo, that's our guy. We signed him out of free agency. He's pretty awful, but we signed him just for depth in our system. He's a 43 with B potential at 23 years old. He'll be lucky. I mean, if he can become a minor league all-star, I'd probably be happy with that. Yeah, I'm not really, Johan Oviedo could be. He's not quite to the point where I think that we want to keep him on our team the entire year. Like, he might be somebody we might bounce back and forth. But I don't think that we would want to keep him on our team the entire year. Yeah, I think we are going to choose to forego picking anybody in the Rule 5 draft. So we'll see if anybody else gets taken in the next round. Nope, that's going to be it. Pretty uneventful this year. It is December 28th, and we are still waiting on the 3 top free agents to sign in Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, and Zach Gallen. But dominoes are starting to fall nonetheless. Michael King is headed to the Braves on a 4-year, $48.4 million deal. And another big signing here, my Red Sox are going to sign Devin Williams, former Milwaukee Brewer. We traded him to the Braves. They had offered him an extension, but I guess he chooses to go to the Red Sox, which is great. We don't have to face him. Oh, hey, Chris Paddock is going to go to the Phillies on a 5-year, $76.5 million deal. The dominoes starting to fall a little bit, but those top 3 guys are still out there. And finally, in mid-January, I think it's January 15th, our long national nightmare is over. The wait is over. Bo Bichette is a Milwaukee Brewer. A 5-year deal, $96.7 million. We got it done. I'm super excited to add that long, flowing mane of hair, much like my own, to this wonderful roster. Shout out to Joey Ortiz for holding down the shortstop role for the past 2 years. We'll have to figure out where he fits in our plans in the future. I wonder where Zach Gallen and Vlad Guerrero Jr. are going to go now. The Blue Jays, who lost Bo Bichette and look like they're probably going to lose Vlad Guerrero Jr. as well, have signed Tommy Edman. So not a bad deal. Edman can play pretty much anywhere. He is getting on up there in age, but it is a good signing for them. Here we are on the first day of February, really close to spring training starting. Still waiting on Zach Gallen and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to sign. Josh Naylor, though, has signed with the Washington Nationals. Maybe they are ready to come out of their rebuild phase and start contending. And just a few days later, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to sign with the Nationals as well. So I guess they've got him a first baseman and a DH. That's a little bit weird, but it is cool to see him go to the Nationals where his father used to play. Although he's more known for playing for the Expos than the Nationals. 6 years, $121 million. All right, here we are in the middle of arbitration hearings, and Zach Gallen gonna stay in the Midwest, signing with the Texas Rangers, moving on from the Diamondbacks. And pretty much all of the big-name free agents have now signed. Bo Bichette to the Brewers, Dylan Cease to the Brewers. Let's see, who else was it? Devin Williams went to the Red Sox. Vlad Jr. goes to the Nationals, along with Josh Naylor. Zach Gallen goes to the Rangers. All right, we are not done wheeling and dealing yet. We are back with our favorite trade partners, the Miami Marlins, who we traded with last year, and now we're getting a boy. We are trading Francisco Mejia, who really was pretty good for us last year, and probably would be pretty good for us this year. But you know what? We've got MJ Melendez now. He can be our backup catcher and also play some outfield for us. And I'd want to add some power to the lineup. The Marlins are pretty struggling at catcher with only Nick Fortes. So we're sending them Francisco Mejia. We're going to send them Nick York, who we got in the Willy Adames trade in our very first season. We have Miguel Vargas now as our second baseman of the future. And we also still have Eric Brown Jr., who started in the Milwaukee system. And Yoan Moncada, I've moved him to second and moved Luis Arias to first. I might move him back to third base. I don't know. We'll see how everything shakes out. But we're sending them those three, and we're getting back Jake Buaga, who has some of the highest power of any player in the league. He has this year and then 2 years of arbitration. So basically 3 years of team control. He's coming off of a 34 home run season and where he slugged 456. So love to see that. He can play third base, first base, second base, or DH for us. And we're also going to get Trevor Rogers, who was a starter for the Marlins for the longest time and then became a reliever. And I think that's what we're going to use him as. You know, now that I think about it, I think they actually moved him back to starter in real life. He had a lot of potential, right? Like, he was like the next big thing. He had, in his first full season, a 3.3 wins above replacement season. He went 7-8, but had a 2.64 ERA, 1.15 WHIP, and then he struggled over the next couple of years. And they moved him to the bullpen. I think they've moved him back to the rotation due to injuries in real life, but he's still in the bullpen here, and that's what we're going to use him as a long reliever. I really like this addition to our bullpen, and we're going to make this deal. When we say we're going for it, we mean we're going for it. Nick Pivetta, AJ Smith-Shawver, and Edwin Arroyo are headed to the Mariners for Logan Gilbert. The Mariners are stacked at starting pitcher. I mean, they're going to lose Logan Gilbert and still have a better rotation than us, even after the work we've done on our rotation this offseason. We are also going to send them AJ Smith-Shawver, who is the starting pitcher we got from the Braves in the Devin Williams deal. 23 years old, 72 B potential, very good pitching prospect. And we're also going to send them, and this hurts, Edwin Arroyo, one of my favorite prospects that we picked up. We traded Tyler Black and a couple of other people to the Reds, I think in our first offseason. And we got Edwin Arroyo in return, and he just did crazy good last year. Look at the improvement. But we've got Bo Bichette. You can't sit on prospects forever. You've got to be willing to part with them to get production, and that's what we're going to do. Logan Gilbert is going to come to the squad. I think we're going to wrap up this offseason and get ready for a spring training game, and we'll take a look at our 40-man roster before we do. All right, it is spring training time, and here's what the squad is looking like. A lot of people playing for roster spots this spring, but this is what the lineup looks like heading into it. Against righties, we will be leading off with Christian Yelich in left field. Bo Bichette will be batting second at shortstop. Luis Arias starting at first base, batting third. William Contreras batting fourth. Jake Buaga batting fifth. Sal Frelick in right field, batting sixth. Nelson Velasquez at DH batting seventh. Yoan Moncada batting eighth at second base. And then Jackson Chourio batting ninth, hoping for a breakout season offensively for him, playing center field. And then against lefties, we'll have Bo Bichette leading off with William Contreras batting second, Luis Arias again at first, batting third. We got Jake Buaga at DH batting fourth, Christian Yelich in left field at fifth, Nelson Velasquez batting sixth and right, Miguel Vargas batting seventh at second base, Yoan Moncada at third base, and Jackson Chourio in center field at number 9. All right, pretty good spring training so far. We are 18-10, good enough for second place in the Cactus League. Let's go ahead and take a look at how some of our team has done so far. I'll scroll over here so we can see OPS. Christian Yelich, wow, what a spring. Batted 326 with 28 hits, 6 home runs, 985 OPS. Jeremy De La Rosa really struggled. Sal Frelick, really good spring. Like 462 and 873 OPS. Bo Bichette, the book of Bo Bichette. 914 OBS, love to see OPS, love to see it. Joey Ortiz, not terrible. 233 though is around what we expected. not great. 294 for Luis Arias with a 750 OPS, about what we've come to expect there. Darno didn't do horrible. Jake Berger with a 911 OPS, 6 home runs this spring. Yohan Moncada with a 682 OPS. Nicely done by Jackson Chourio. He's got a home run and a 702 OPS. Bad spring by Akil Baddoo. He had a good enough season last year, though, in his limited at-bats off the bench for me to... I mean, he's guaranteed a roster for me, at least to start the year. Hideki Watanabe, in his first spring training, 20 years old, 8 out of 24 with 1 home run, 2 RBIs, on bases, 970 OPS, had 2 doubles, 13 total bases. I mean, I feel like he's right there. I don't know. We're going to play our last spring training game here, and I think what I'm going to do is start Hideki Watanabe and give him the entire game. Everybody else will get subbed out after an at-bat or 2. Andy Pajes, I was thinking that he might start in AAA, and these stats kind of confirm that for me. The 865, like the slugging percentage is actually really strong considering his 227 average. Only 5 hits, 2 of them were home runs, and 1 was a double. So the power is there. We just need him to catch up a little bit on everything. I've got him training on fielding as well, so I don't have to worry about him being like a DH only. MJ Melendez, not bad, 741 OPS, good enough for a backup for sure. Jefferson Caro, not bad in limited exposure, 6 out of 15. William Contreras, oh yeah, he got injured for a few days, but still managed to do a 1092 OPS. Wow. I was wondering why he was so far down on the list. He was injured for a few games, so he missed some time. Same with Miguel Vargas. Or no, not Miguel Vargas. Nelson Velasquez missed a little time, and that's why he's a little bit down here. But still, 971 OPS from him and 6 home runs there. And Miguel Vargas only starts against lefty, but 839 OPS. Really nice to see that. Pitching wise, let's just check out, you know, their wins above replacement. The best kind of gauge of how they did, if I can figure out how to work these menus. It's really tough when you switch between different games like MLB, UK, and Madden. They all have different buttons to replace or like to sort and bring up player cards. Okay, a .73 whip from Freddie Peralta, 1.8 ERA, 27 strikeouts in 30 innings. He is in a contract year, and he sees that we brought in some other pitchers, trying to show that he's still the best. 1.28 whip from Dylan Cease is nice. 30 strikeouts in 32 innings. Good performance from Joel Pineapples. Aaron Ashby, 26 strikeouts in 23 innings, but a 1.76 whip. Don't love to see that. Abner Uribe did pretty well. Trevor Rogers, pretty good out of... Well, no, I lied. That's not very good. What are we going to do with him? We actually extended him just because it's really cheap. Extended him through his age 30 season. I don't know, man. He's still got the potential. It's there. Logan Gilbert, 1.48 whip, 6.21 ERA. That's not very good at all, is it? That's not encouraging. Jacob Mizrowski, how we do? 2.22 whip. That's freaking horrible, man. Freaking horrible. Okay, well, let's hop into this last game. Aaron Ashby's getting the start. We're going up against the rookie Rod Thrasher, who we were kind of wanting to draft last year. We're going to try and get some playing time for people that we might not see very much during the regular season. Let's go ahead and throw Hideki Watanabe in here. Okay, Watanabe going to start in the 6 hole there. So we've got Watanabe in. We're going to see what he can do. Maybe he can convince me to start him on the roster this year. Hey, he's done pretty well in spring training, but I'm still leaning towards starting him in AAA. Anyways, let's hop into this game against the Rockies, and we'll show you the highlights. Oh, Bo Bichette! Our first at-bat with Bo Bichette in the Brewers uniform, and this ball is crushed. Rod Thrasher on the second batter of the game. He is not having a good spring, and that ball goes 444, 108.6 off the bat for Bo Bichette. That ball's hit pretty well by Watanabe, and it is going to find the grass there. Struck out in his first at bat, but Hideki Watanabe is on with a leadoff single here, 1 for 2 on the day. That ball's hit pretty well by Frelick. It's going to be a base hit. We're going to have to settle in with a double and leave Nelson Velasquez at third. But it'll give us a chance to have Jackson Chourio come up with a chance to get an RBI here. Mizorowski is going to give up the first run of the game, but there's going to be a play at the plate, and we got him! Travis d'Arnaud puts on the tag. Nice relay there from Baddoo to Moncada down to Travis d'Arnaud, but the game is tied at 1 now. Jacob Mizorowski, in his second inning here, has 2 outs and just needs 1 more to get out of this. That's going to be a ground ball fielded by Moncada, and an impressive inning from Wickelman Gonzalez, who strikes out 2 and grounds out the third. 3 up, 3 down for Wickelman Gonzalez. 1-1 headed to 6th. That ball's hit well to right field. A sliding catch from Nolan Jones. Are you kidding me? Robbing Jefferson Caro of a base hit. Unfortunate there. Still a good swing put on it by the catcher, Jefferson Caro. What a play. Brock Wilken dives and makes the stop. The former first-round pick out of Wake Forest, Brock Wilken, with a nice diving catch at third base. Just gets it right at the line and throws the batter out at first, Ryan McMahon. Still tied 1-1 here, though. There's another base hit for Hideki Watanabe. He's 2 for 4 now today. Really making this decision tough for me. We're in the 9th inning here, down 3-1, hoping to get a rally going. Unfortunately, unable to get the win here. We did only give our starters outside of Watanabe and Chourio only 1 at bat. So not a ton of offense going on here outside of Bo Bichette's solo home run. We did rack up 7 hits. Bo Bichette, Joey Ortiz, each with some hits. Nelson Velasquez, Sal Frelick, Jackson Chourio, and then 2 from Hideki Watanabe. All right, y'all, that is going to wrap things up for our second offseason here in Brewers franchise. I hope you enjoyed everything. We are going all in, going big this season, hoping to at least make a NLCS push. I mean, honestly, I think we have the team. Got some decisions to make roster-wise. I will see you in the regular season. As always, I super appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Peace out.